Ever feel like you dodged a bullet in a relationship? Like, really dodged a bullet. Today, we're diving into a story that makes dodged a bullet feel like a massive understatement. We're talking series of videos from a woman claiming her ex-boyfriend sold his soul to the devil. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. Well, actually, she might have, but that's what we're here to unpack, Ray. She doesn't hold back.
Yeah.
Detailing these vivid encounters with, well, let's just say entities for now. This all starts in a seemingly normal relationship. We're talking marriage, the future, all that jazz. Then, bam, he casually drops the sold my soul to the devil bomb. I don't know about you, but I'd be sprinting, not walking in the opposite direction. But she sticks around. Maybe out of love, maybe disbelief. That's when things take a seriously creepy turn. They have this explosive argument. Apparently, he refused to get a job even though she was pulling 60-hour work weeks. Huge red flag, right?
Absolutely.
They try to sleep off this fight, but as she closes her eyes, then opens them again, she sees them, those four shadowy figures, just circling above her. It's like something out of a horror movie. As if the ceiling situation wasn't creepy enough, she spots a shadowy face lurking outside her window. I mean, talk about feeling watched. But here's the kicker. When she tells these entities to leave, her boyfriend gets angry. He actually defends them, says they're his friends and they're upset with her. It's like he's trying to gaslight her into thinking she's the one who's out of line. And as if things couldn't get any weirder, that's when she sees it. This figure standing in her doorway, a half man, half goat, with these imposing horns. And the fact that it appears after the argument, after he defends these entities, it adds another layer to this already unsettling story. But this is just the tip of the iceberg, folks.
One time in my 20s, I was dating a dude who sold his soul to the... And I didn't believe him at first. And then things just started getting super weird. So he would come over to my apartment. And one night we had like this fight because he was doing some unsavory things. He wouldn't get a job. And I was working like 60 hours a week. He came over and we got in this big fight. And then we were like, you know what, I was like, you know what, let's just go to bed. Let's like sleep on this. Let's talk about it in the morning. I shit you not, I lay down, I close my eyes, I look up, and there are four like black beings swirling around my ceiling. I'm like, what the world? I look out towards my window. There's a male figure standing at my window. And I'm like, you guys, so I've seen ghosts before. So I was like, you all are not welcome here. You need to leave. Get out. Blah, blah. And really creepy in this like really, I'm going to try to do it, voice. He was like, they're here for me. They're upset for me that you're treating me the way you are. And I knew at that point he wasn't fucking kidding when he said that. He sold his... So he, he's like getting really angry with me because I'm telling his friends, demons, to leave. And I look over to my window, or I look over to my door of my room that is cracked open, and there is, and I've never seen this before in my life, my blood ran cold. I haven't seen it since. This is the first time ever. There is a half man with like a goat's face or something with like the ram ears. I don't know what it was, like the ram horn things, standing with like red eyes, standing in my doorframe. And I'm literally still getting chills to this day. This has been 10, 12 years and I still am shocked by what happened. And so I'm like, I tell the guy, I say, I am so sorry. I love you. Like, I was mad. I didn't mean any of it. Like, absolutely. And yeah. Okay. This is part 2 of I dated a guy who sold his soul to the... And so a few questions from the last video. Did anything happen after that? Yes. Did I have an attachment after that? Yes. Did I get away from him? Obviously. Is he alive? Yes. But I don't know anything about him. Haven't seen him in 12 years since all this happened. Yeah, at least 12 years. And listen, I get it. Like a lot of you said you would run the second that you heard that. Totally valid. If I was dating someone, I probably would have. But we were in a committed relationship. We'd been together for like 4 months. And at this point, we were talking about marriage and all that. And then I realized very quickly after he told me that, and then after this incident happened, that like I did not want to be involved with someone like that who would sick his friends on me. So that night, just to finish that part, because we have a lot of questions about that night. Did they all leave? Yes. Like immediately after he said, okay, everyone, I'm safe. She's not serious. Leave. Like I'm the threat. So they all just like vanished. Every few nights after that, I would say it was like every 2 or 3 days, they would be back and circling my ceiling, these black things. Okay. Circling. I never saw that ram horn thing again. Never saw that. Often saw shadow figures constantly while we were together. The scariest incident that happened after that, before we broke up, because like I knew I needed to get away, but I was really concerned how to, because he said he would murder me if we ever broke up, because that's not how this works. And he paid a really big price for us to be together, because again, he said he sold it for riches and like famous stuff and for us to be together forever. And he told me that we would have 6 children and that the 6th one would accidentally unalive him. I had to think of the word because I didn't want TikTok to flag it. Accidentally unalive him in like a tragic freak accident, and the whole family would be there. He said it would maybe be like a boating accident or something along those lines. It would be outside. That's what the schmevel told him. So, okay. So I'm knowing I need to get out of this relationship. And if you've ever left an abusive or really toxic relationship, you know how hard it is to just like jet. Like he had a key to my house, like all these things. So long story short, I know this has to end. He starts like doing some stuff with music because he wanted to be in the music industry. So he's out of town. He's like in Nashville or something. And I'm like, perfect. This is a perfect opportunity. And so I am at my house, and we got in a fight on the phone. And then I'm like, what? Okay. So I get off the phone. It's like 2 a.m. I go to bed at 3 a.m. I hear like the biggest crashing sounds. It sounds like stuff is breaking. So I'm like, what the frick is going on? So my daughter and I's room shared a closet. Like it was like a hallway basically, but like a closet. It's super weird. Okay. Just hear me out. So there's a point to this. From one end of the closet, you could open the door and you could walk to the other door of the closet and open it to her room, and vice versa. So she could go through my room. Anyways, she is still dead asleep. I like run in there because I'm like, oh my God, did someone break in or what's happening? Because this guy's psycho. And she's fine. She's dead asleep. Nothing's going on. But and everything in the closet had literally like it looked like someone pulled down all the shelves. Like it was like, and so I just chalked it up to, okay, that's really creepy. That's weird that all that happened. And I just decide at that point, like I've already checked out the entire house. I'm going to go from the closet, her side, all the way to my room. So when I get in the closet, like I open the thing, I'm going, and something drops on my head, and it's water, but I know that there's no water source up there. So I'm like, what the fuck? So like I had my phone with me, and it didn't have a flashlight at that point. Okay. This is a long time ago. And I like just like click the screen and I shine it, and there's like this big like black spot, like expanding. That's the word, expanding on the ceiling, like of the closet. It's just like going like this. And I'm like, oh fuck. And so I like flung that door closed. I took my daughter and we left. It was like 3 a.m. We did not stay there. We stayed at a neighbor's house. The next day I come in. He's still gone, so I'm not like really worried about that. And he didn't live with me. He would just like come over and visit. But at this point I'm like, hey, like, I can't let you come over and visit. Anyways, at this point I go in the closet, and there's all this somehow that it was there, that black spot, and it was like molded, but like there's not water above that spot. Okay. People came and checked it out. They did cut it out, and they said that maybe somehow the electrical wiring induced water. It was very weird. They couldn't figure it out. It was unexplained. So they cut out the ceiling. Another story of our time together is that window that I was telling you about in my room. We were sleeping one night, and this is like before he sold everything, and there was someone standing at the window, and I asked him what that was, and he said he didn't know. And he went out there, and he was like, hey, is anyone out here? But obviously it was his attachment. So yeah, I think that's like almost everything. I don't know if there's any more questions, please let me know. I'm happy to make another video, but I think that's everything.
Unexplained phenomena like this often become amplified in situations like this. Our brains crave explanations, and when we can't find a logical one, especially in an environment that already feels unstable, we tend to fill in the blanks with something else, something
Unexplained. Our minds go straight to the paranormal. It's like, okay, well, Goatman visited, so maybe my closet has a leak in the space-time continuum.
precisely the human mind,
Huh.
especially in heightened states of stress or fear, becomes incredibly susceptible to suggestion. It's like our senses are on high alert, trying to make sense of a world that suddenly feels very uncertain. It's a perfect storm of psychological vulnerability and the allure of the unexplained. The human mind, faced with such a perplexing situation, naturally seeks patterns, connections, explanations. And when those explanations seem to defy logic, well, that's when things get really interesting.
Right. It's like our brains are wired to fill in the blanks, even if we have to reach for the supernatural to do it. So how do we make sense of it all? Is this a case of genuine paranormal activity? Or are we looking at the powerful effects of a toxic relationship, maybe even a form of gaslighting, amplified by the human tendency to seek the extraordinary?
It's a question without an easy answer. But what we can explore are the psychological mechanisms at play. Take sleep paralysis, for example. It can induce hallucinations, that feeling of being pinned down, watched, sensations that align with her descriptions, add in the extreme stress of her situation, the constant undermining of her reality. And it's not hard to see how her perceptions might have been heightened, distorted even.
Yeah. It's like that saying, you see what you expect to see. Or in this case, maybe. You see what you're afraid to see.
And fear is a powerful thing. It can cloud our judgment, make us doubt our own senses. It can also make us vulnerable to manipulation, which seems particularly relevant in this story.
Totally. He preys on her fears, uses these supposed supernatural events to control her, isolate her. It's chilling to think about.
What's equally fascinating is how this story, despite its disturbing details, still manages to tap into our collective fascination with the unknown, even if we approach it with skepticism. There's a part of us that wants to believe, wants to find evidence of something beyond our understanding.
Right. It's like that thrill of listening to a ghost story around a campfire. Even if we know it's not real, it still sends shivers down our spine. So